Listen, I don't want to be another video game reviewer. Pretty much every popular website out there with a pretty good fan base already has its own fair share of video game reviewers. Although, I must admit, I am a gamer and my list of video games is pretty extensive. That being said, I still don't really want to be a video game reviewer. But there's one subject that I really cannot ignore, and that involves the translation process from Japanese to English on certain import games. Today I want to tell you a little story. It involves anime, video games, translation taboos, and all kinds of little things in between. One day, a few years back, I worked in a fairly well-to-do retail store. They mostly sold clothing, jewelry, housewares, that sort of thing, so it was a bit of a surprise when I found a sale on a small selection of video games. The one game that stood out particularly to me was this game called Castle Shikigami 2, a top-down shooter made for the PlayStation 2. I had never heard of it before, and the game was obviously anime influenced, and with the price being just right and my curiosity getting the best of me, I took it home. And thus started my journey into the depths of Castle Shikigami hell. Well, how terrible is it? Maybe it's not as terrible as I might have led you to believe with this introduction, but that doesn't really make it any less terrible. It is in fact terrible in its own right. Here, take a look. Well, the gameplay is actually pretty good. In fact, it's really quite hard. You play as one of 7 different anime-styled characters, 1 or 2 players, and fly, somehow, through anime-style boss after boss with those absolutely ridiculous bullet patterns flying at you that the Japanese are so well known for. Oh man, it's hard! Oh, I bet I can squeeze in past right here and... Jeez! Each individual character has a special attack known as a Shikigami, and each one is unique to themselves, and all of them are pretty cool. One character even has a butler as her Shikigami. Wow, what? So one question you may be asking is, why are you doing any of these things you're doing at all? Where am I? Is this the castle? What's so bad about it? Who are these people I'm playing as? Why can they fly? And where did they get their Shikigami powers? Well, don't expect the game to give you any of the answers, and really, it's not for lack of trying that they don't get you to clearly understand it, but, well, just listen to some of this dialogue.
Never forget the duty of an American.
What?
First time to meet, or long time.
Huh?
I am Roger Sasuke, Ninja Pearl Shield.
What does that mean? During the gameplay, in battles, and when a character gets hit, they actually left in the original Japanese voice acting. They didn't dub it over, and they didn't bother to subtitle it. It's just a bit of a lazy move. In a lot of places, what the voice actor says and what the subtitles say are two completely different things. Take this boss, Alara, or Arala, or Alala, or... well, look.
I am Alala Clum, the Scarlet Baron.
She gets her own name wrong. Not to mention it's spelled differently in both the subtitles and the boss name in the upper left-hand corner of the screen.
You came, Alada. I knew you would.
No,
You
who
came,
are you
Alada.
talking to?
I
Aren't
knew
you
you would.
Alara? What the hell? Playing with 2 players and mixing and matching the combinations
That's your
would
trick.
make for some
You get
great
secret
story, and you can tell it's
hate that.
supposed to give you a better idea as to the relationships between the characters, but the translation is so bad that half the time you can't even tell what they're trying to get across.
Same to you? Take my hand?
I don't want to soil the new world.
In some situations, the characters will even read the external blocking of the character out loud.
Used to commanding. I'm Roger Sasuke.
Huh?
Changed voice. It's me, Yama.
What? How did this pass QA? Was it not obvious that you're not supposed to read Change's voice out loud? And it's not like the people reading the script aren't native English speakers. It's obvious that the voice actors are from North America. So how could it possibly come out this bad? I guess to some extent I can't really blame the voice actors. Voice actors usually only do pretty much as they're directed. But that's, of course, if they have a director that really cares about what their voice actors are doing. Okay, so in this situation, let's say that both the voice actors and the directors and the producers kind of failed at this. How did it pass QA? Why did they even let it slip through? How could they have let it get this bad? I mean, their voice acting is just about as bad, if not worse, than my acting. No, wait. Nothing is worse than my acting. Who is this company? Why did they allow this to fall through the cracks? XS Games, huh? Wow. XS what? Excess mediocrity? Well, they have excess something, but whatever it is, it's not quality. I mean, their quality games include such titles as Super Pickups, Popstar Guitar, and Pure Pinball. Alright, so Castle Shikigami 2 was pretty bad, but it made me curious, what happened to Castle Shikigami 1? Well, no matter where I looked for Castle Shikigami 1, for the life of me, I just couldn't find it. That is until research led me to discover that Castle Shikigami 1 was under a completely different title called Mobile Light Force 2. What? Oh, it was published by XS Games also. Oh well, that explains everything. The game was also released on the PS2 and features the same characters from Castle Shikigami 2, but then... Wait, who are these three Charlie's Angels-esque girls on the cover? Why are they on the ground instead of in the air? What's with the guns? What's with the robots? What's with the total Terminator 2 future going on in the background? What does this have to do with the events in the game? Did the artist even play the game? Was he even told what went on in the game or what happens in the game? What? Why? How? Who? Well, judging from the gameplay, who could tell what the point of the game is supposed to be? The screen starts with shots of the original characters of the game, then it gives us that stupid Charlie's Angels artwork again. Why? So then you select your character and... What, the game just starts? No story? Okay, maybe there's just no story to be told right at the beginning. But then you get to the boss and it just skips right to the battle. If that's not bad enough, they don't even bother telling you who the boss is. The name of every boss in the game is Life of Boss, giving me no real education on who I'm fighting or why I'm fighting them. I'm just fighting for the sake of fighting. That's not fun to me. Is it fun to you? It's not fun to me. And what's up with what little voice acting they did dub over and throw in? How dare you? It's completely incomprehensible. Why even bother dubbing over? Now take a look at the instruction booklet. They have character descriptions for a ton of the bosses. Now why couldn't they just leave that story in there? If they were able to translate all that information, why couldn't they just translate it and put it in their game? Isn't it a chore to remove elements from an already completed game? At least both of these games have their fair share of interesting extras like special artwork and stuff like that, so that's one point in their favor. So wait, come to think of it, I just finished playing Castle Shikigami 2, and following that I played Castle Shikigami 1, which was renamed Mobile Light Force 2 here in the US. So, if Mobile Light Force 2 is Castle Shikigami 1, then what is Mobile Light Force 1? Oh no. Please be kidding me. Why is this artwork here? You mean to tell me that they created this artwork for their first game and then kept the same artwork for their sequel? Who does this? So anyway, Mobile Light Force was also released by XS Games, big surprise, on PlayStation. And it's another top-down shooter, just like Mobile Light Force 2 and Castle Shikigami 2. But who are all these characters? What are all these power-ups? Why does it not have any of the abilities that were found in Mobile Light Force 2 and Castle Shikigami 2? Well, that's because it's not a Castle Shikigami game at all. It's a completely different game series made by a completely different game company. What you're looking at is the bastardized adaptation of Gunbird, originally released by the Japanese company Saikyo, well known for other shoot-'em-ups like Strikers 1945, Space Bomber, and Dragon Blaze. The game is good, granted it's really freaking hard. I suppose I should be thanking XS Games for removing any extra difficulty by leaving the entire game on free play, making it impossible to lose. Yeah, that's fun. That'll test how good you really are at the game. Why try when you know you can't completely die? So you have these fun-looking anime-styled characters, but what's with these names? MILF 2000? Okay, I get that it's an acronym for Mobile Light Force and all, but come on, they had to have known what they were getting themselves into. And what kind of names are these? John Suarez? Jason Last? Wait a minute. Here in the credits, producer John H.B. Suarez. QA, Jason Last. They renamed the characters to the names of the US developers? How self-absorbed can you get? Well, I guess America finally wised up after a while, because it would appear that neither the Gunbird nor the Castle Shikigami franchises are still under XS Games. Gunbird 2 got some great, full, funny translation and release on the Dreamcast, and after partnering up with Capcom, Morrigan from Darkstalkers was added to the list of playable characters. Castle Shikigami appears to be popular in its own right. Another PS2 game was released in Japan that we never received. It seems really interesting, but with the lack of a Japanese PS2 and my complete refusal to mod my own, I have yet to try this one out myself. Luckily, however, we did manage to receive a well-translated copy of Castle of Shikigami 3 released on the Nintendo Wii. This game has all the bullet hell that its two predecessors had, and has some really golden story moments. Comedy gold, that is.
Oh no, his face looks scary. Can you look a little kinder? Please?
You can tell that the original developers started taking themselves less and less seriously, and really, that's okay. The comic relief takes the stress off the game and really makes it enjoyable, especially for people like me who aren't typically very good at top-down shooters. But where this game really shines is in its two-player dialogue. My personal favorite pair is Roger Sasuke, the American ninja, and Munchausen, the butler who had previously been a Shikigami in the last two games. Listen to some of this. It's obvious that they've started poking fun at yaoi fangirls with these two.
We're two men alone. Don't you think it would be a waste?
That doesn't sound right. Wait. Even though we're two unpopular characters together, that's just... no.
Some of their dialogue with the bosses are priceless too.
Here goes Rogerland.
Sure, big sis.
What's with you guys?
Then there's characters like Reika, and you'll find yourself struggling to remember why she feels so familiar.
She now works as Time Gal, battling crimes against time. Ah, the old days were so good. All the arcades had a poster of me. No arrows show up on the screen, so I don't know which way to go.
Yeah, that's right. Reika is none other than the one and only Time Gal from the game Time Gal, released back on the Sega CD. What an awesome Easter egg! Well, for now we've finished the Shikigami cycle, so let's take a step back for a second and think about the order of these releases. We'll start with Mobile Light Force, again originally titled as Gunbird. This later on branches off into Gunbird 2, with some connections to Darkstalkers. Next we have Mobile Light Force 2, again originally titled as Castle Shikigami. It is then followed by the correctly titled but poorly translated Castle Shikigami 2. And finally, America got it all correct with Castle of Shikigami 3, which has its ties to Time Gal. Look at this mess, it's barely followable at all. All in all, if you do get a chance to play any of these games, you will find yourself having fun, enjoying yourself, and being legitimately challenged by the gameplay itself. Just don't think too hard about it, and try to ignore any dialogue you may come across, and you'll be just fine.